Okay, so welcome to the first run of the campaign that we are starting. Gloomhaven. Everyone needs to eat. Whatever your reason for coming to Gloomhaven, out here on the edge of the world, that simple fact is never going to change. A mercenary can't fight on an empty stomach. So when Jexera, a Valrith woman wearing a red cloak and enough gold jewelry to keep you fed for a decade, approaches you in a sleeping lion and offers you to pay you 10 gold coins to track down a thief and receive some stolen goods, well, it seems like as good an excuse as any to sober up and start paying off your tab. This thief has taken some important documents, says the red-skinned merchant, her tail whipping about in agitation. I don't care what you do to him, just bring back what is mine. Based on Jexera's description, it was easy enough to knock around a few alley thugs and get a location of the thieves' hideout. You don't find yourself as a mercenary way out in Gloomhaven without knowing how to crack a few skulls. So your target is the Black Barrow. Sounds like a lovely place. So, that unlocks location number 1, the Black Barrow. Okay. It also, by the way, unlocks a achievement, which is the City Rule Militaristic Achievement. Now, it actually has a spot on the top of the map for all of our achievements. Right now, we're not going to worry about it. We'll do it after the Black Barrow. We'll just say that that's what unlocks that. But we are actually in the city currently. We will be going along the road to the Black Barrow. The thing is that we are in the city. Anytime you are in the city, have to do what is called a city event. So we are going to do a city event, and you saw us pull the other cards out of the personal quest thing. We pick a card off the top. It's going to give us a scenario, which I'll read out, and then we have to choose as a group what our response is between a couple of options. Okay, so we're going to take this one. This is our city event. You hear screams from the south as you approach the docks and see a group of women running towards you in a panic. An invasion, they yell as they race by you, nearly knocking you over. You hurry to the docks and find a crowd of workers on the edge, armed with makeshift weapons and encircling one particular pier. Standing at the far end of the wooden planks is a group of lurkers. Terrifying, crab-like monsters as big as an anox and equally ferocious. Except these lurkers don't appear to be hostile. They are simply standing on the dock, clacking their claws in a strange rhythm. So we have two options here. Option A is to raise arms and fight the lurkers back into the sea. Or option B is to approach the lurkers cautiously and attempt to communicate with them. So we have to choose which one we would do. Honestly, from the way it's written at the end,
doesn't sound threatening.
They don't really sound that threatening. So I would go with option B.
Yeah. Let's see what's up.
Let's see what option B says. So, option B. The crowd parts as you move toward the dock with both confidence and care. The lurkers notice your approach and continue to clack in your direction. You call out to them and ask why they are here, but all you get in response is a change in the tempo of their clacking. When you express confusion, they clack again in frustration and scuttle back into the ocean. The crowd is very impressed, and you manage to ward off the creatures without using force. So, the reward, I guess, is gain 2 reputation, because we are going on the road, so we have to do a road event. So, we finished our city event, got us +2 reputation. By the way, just throwing this out there. That's a good thing. They are not always good.
No.
There are city events and road events that can hurt your character, lose you experience, lose you gold.
Lose cards, which is really hurtful.
Lose cards. Like you start the game, you start a dungeon with a disadvantage. So that's the first city event. We will be moving on toward the Black Barrow. We are going to go ahead and do a road event because, like I said, we are going to be moving from the city to the Black Barrow. So anytime you leave the city and go to a location, dungeon, scenario, whatever you want to call it, you have to do what's called a road event. And these work the same way as the city events. So again, pre-shuffled, we're going to go ahead and pull the top one. See what it says. Let's see. Walking along the trail, you are surprised by a group of demons who appear to your left, charging over a hill towards you. Something is off, however. Their pace is slow and they are significantly smaller than the demons you normally deal with. Halfway down the hill, the demons pause and take stock of you. Seeing you are far from easy prey, they turn around and begin to retreat. The options are: Option A, chase them down quickly and kill them. Option B, follow them more slowly, attempting to discover where they are from.
Too suspicious, man. They saw us and took off running. We gotta chase them down and kill them.
Well, I mean, yeah. I feel like it's a trap.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna follow them back. Let's get this over with before they lead us into the trap.
I guess. I mean, they're slow. It says they're slow in the thing. I guess we can kill them. We'll take option A, I guess. Chase them down quickly and kill them. Okay, so we choose option A. We're going to chase them down quickly and kill them. The option A is: A, you roar and charge up the hill. The demons are no match for you, either in speed or in strength. You kill them quickly but painfully. I mean, I don't know if I've done that. Maybe quickly. So, our
Nigel would.
Yeah, of course Nigel would.
He ain't playing no games.
Is we gain 5 experience each.
Boom.
We're going to take our character screen plus things here, and we're going to just set our experience at 5. So we'll start with 5. So what that means is, and we'll go into this later on after we finish the first dungeon, you have to have a certain amount of experience to level up. And like, for example, in order to go from level 1 to level 2, you have to have 45 experience. So we managed to get 5 experience before we even got there. It is easy enough to find. A short journey past the Newmarket Gate and you see it jutting out on the edge of the corpse wood, looking like a rat under a rug. Moving closer, you see the mound is formed from black earth. It is small, overgrown entrance presents a worn set of stone stairs leading down into the darkness. As you descend, you gratefully notice light emanating from below. Unfortunately, the light is accompanied by the unmistakable stench of death. You contemplate what kind of thieves would make their camp in such a horrid place as you reach the bottom of the steps. Here you find your answer, a rough group of cutthroats who don't seem to have taken very kindly to your sudden appearance. One in the back matches the description of your quarry. Take care of these unfortunates, he says, backing out of the room. You can vaguely make out his silhouette as he retreats down a hallway and through a door to his left. Well, it's not every day we get people stupid enough to hand-deliver their valuables to us, grins one of the larger bandits, and sheathing a rusty blade. We'll be killing you now. Joke's on them. If you had any valuables, you probably wouldn't be down here in the first place. We made it to the Black Barrow. Okay. Now,
It's a
the
long
thing
ass
is,
walk, man.
it was. especially with them dead demon killing we had to do. So, the way this works is that there are individual map tiles. We've set this dungeon up the way it's supposed to be set up. We enter through the first room. I'll read you the read up for it in a minute, because there is actually storyline behind this. Anytime you enter a room, you'll populate the room. The first room is always just populated normally. The second room and the third room in this dungeon will be populated in a specific way. We'll get to that. But before we start this scenario, there's something that you do every time you start a scenario. You have to get what's a personal battle goal, scenario goal. Now, obviously, we have our personal quests, but for each one of the personal, or for every scenario, we're going to draw a personal battle goal. And what this does is, if we complete the objective on our card, then we will get an extra mark to put on our character sheet that will allow us to, if we get 3 of them, it will allow us to add an extra check mark to our thing, which unlocks a perk for us as a character. So I'm going to go ahead and pull mine. This is just for this scenario.
Lady characters first, always.
So My personal goal is sadist. Kill 5 or more monsters during the scenario. Should be easy, actually, for my character, because I do most of the killing when I run with Nigel over here.
We're gonna keep a kill count. Alright, I'll pull. Gain 13 or more experience points during this scenario. That's not gonna happen because I only have one card that gives me experience points.
So Nigel might not get his.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get my first check.
I might let him kill an elite so he can get at least part of the way through his
Yes! Thanks for letting me do stuff, man.
Okay, so one other thing I should point out, you can see it on camera, we have the map set up here. This is the dungeon map for this scenario. Now I'm going to point out this here. This is the elemental board. Certain abilities that our characters have will increase the amount of elements in certain elemental brackets. For example, you got frost, light, fire, darkness, wind, and nature. If I use an ability that increases fire, it will increase it to strong, and then every turn it will go down 1 until it gets back to inert. Certain spell cards have the ability to take advantage of that elemental power to add effects to whatever you're doing. You'll notice that we each have our characters set up. We have our items here, we have our character sheets here, we'll have our discard pile or loss pile, our attack decks. The enemies will be here as much as we can be, depending on how many are in the room. Their attack deck will be here, we'll pull to here. We'll get all this going and we'll start the run. We've entered the barrow. Our characters are going to start here. First thing we do, we choose our first attacks. Okay, and what you do is you take your cards, you take the 2 you picked, you set them down. First thing you do is you flip your cards over to the one that you chose for your initiative. So I'm going to have an initiative of 7. Nigel's going to have an initiative of 10. We're going to flip over the guard card, see what their initiative is going to be 55. A move of -1, an attack of +0, and they are actually going to strengthen themselves. And there are a bunch of different status effects. We didn't really go over this. There are a bunch of different status effects in the game. The one thing to note in this situation is that they will not strengthen until it gets to their turn. So currently they are not strengthened, and since me and Nigel, or Liliana and Nigel, will go first, they will not have the strengthen ability. Liliana's going to go first. Go ahead and flip over our cards. Okay, so what Liliana's going to do, since she's first, is she's actually going to move. I'm going to use the basic movement on my mana bolt card, which lets me move 2, and I'm actually going to move 1. I'm going to move here for the 1 point, which now I'll discard this card, and it does go in the discard because it's not a lost card. Now this other card, on the other hand, will be lost after this attack. This is the Fire Orb spell. This is going to give me the ability to target 3 enemies, up to 3. It's going to have a range of 3, which is why I moved forward 1, because that means that all 3 of these are now in my range. And it does 3 attack damage per person, or per target. Now, the one thing it is going to do is it's going to make the fire go up to strong.
Oh yeah.
Now, one thing I will say is that the fire goes up to strong because of my attack, but I cannot use that fire during my attack. After my attack is over, that fire will be available for use. So, we're going to attack the guards. I'm going to attack guard number 1, which is the elite. Now, it has a base attack of 3, and the guard, actually the elite, has a shield of 1. So it'll take 1 away from whatever my final damage is. I'm going to flip my first card over here.
Come on.
See what my
Big
modifier
numbers,
is.
big numbers. Shit.
-1 on the modifier. So my attack, which would normally do 3 damage, is knocked down by 1 because of my modifier, and down 1 more because of the guard's shield.
So he gets 1 little hit of damage.
1 little point of damage. Gonna go ahead and attack guard number 2, which is this guy right here. Okay, so again, same thing. I'm gonna flip over my card. Oh, the ×2.
I think we just got our first kill of the game.
So the way this works is a 2-time modifier automatically kills, not kills, it automatically doubles whatever damage. So my thing is that I have an attack of 3, 2 times that would be 6 points of damage. The bandit guard only has 6 points of health. So guard number 2 is officially dead. He is, first kill will go to Liliana for the opening salvo here. First blood, first kill.
Bada bing.
Okay, now that still leaves guard number 3, which again, I'm going to pull a card and see what happens. We got a +1.
Hell yeah.
So the opening salvo for Liliana is going to do 1 damage to the elite. It's going to kill the second guard outright. And it's actually going to do 4 damage to the third guard. So, also, I'm 1 step closer to my extra check mark because I've already killed 1 creature. Now, one thing I will point out
Good turn.
is that this card is lost after using that attack. So that card is gone. I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. A little bit of a spoiler warning. The Spellweaver does have the ability to get their cards back out of the lost pile, so it's not gone forever for me.
That's why she starts with a lot less cards.
One other thing is that for every enemy targeted, I gain 1 experience. So I'm actually going to go to 3 on my experience meter for this scenario. One other thing I will point out, since we're just starting, the 2-time modifier card is one of 2 cards in my deck that has a shuffle symbol on it. So at the end of this turn, I will actually be reshuffling my attack modifier deck.
We're 3 cards in and we're done having to restart.
Yeah, and it's just a reshuffle. We basically reshuffle the whole deck and start over from the beginning of the deck. So, Liliana's turn is over. It is now Nigel's turn.
Okay, so what you did didn't really hurt me because I still have a base move of 2, which I'm going to use the Provoking Roar. I'm going to use the base move on the bottom of it to go bingo bango. So that gets discarded. And then I'm going to use the top part of Skewer, which allows me to hit the 2 spots directly in front of me for an attack damage of, we'll start with the elite, 3 plus 2. Alright, so we'll do 5 damage. He has a shield, so we're only going to do 4 hits of damage.
So just to be clear,
Which means we'll take that off and put the 5 up there.
just to be
That's
clear,
a 10.
you can't use any elemental, right?
No, because it's wind. Wind would get me my piercing, but wind is not strong, so that doesn't help me. With this card, we're going to go ahead and pull for the other one. I just need 2, so I need anything less than a -1. I get a 0, hit him for the full amount, which is 3, gives him 7, so
Looks like we killed
second killed off the board. Go ahead over here to my handy dandy notebook. Go ahead and mark in my first kill. That was a good first turn.
It was a very good first turn. Unfortunately, by the way, I should point this out. The elite guard has 10 health total.
And I have to discard both of these. And I get 1 experience. So, boop. Moving on up. I only need 13.
He's only got 12 more to go to get his battle goal.
We need 12 more.
So, we are going to move on to the guard's turn. The guard is going to gain Strengthen. Now, I will read Strengthen directly out of the book for you. Strengthen, if a figure is strengthened, it gains advantage on all its attacks. At the end of its next turn, the Strengthen token is removed. So what basically Strengthen means is it gains advantage. What that means is that there is advantage and disadvantage in attacks. If a character is advantaged, strengthened for example, the way it works is we will pull 2 modifier cards instead of 1. And the better of the 2 will be the one used in the attack. So this might go very badly for Nigel.
What's his base attack?
The guard's base attack is 4. It has a movement of 2. Now, when I was talking earlier in the introduction, I pointed out that unless it is written on the card, they cannot do it. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to do it. It means that they can or cannot do it. He has a move icon on the card, but he doesn't need to move because he's already in line to target his focus, which is the closest character to him, which will be Nigel. He does get an attack modifier of 0 on this card, but because of the attack modifier of 0, he doesn't gain or lose any attack. Okay, so he's going to attack Nigel. We're going to flip over the first card.
2 -2s.
That's a -1. We're going to flip over the second card. It's a +0. So because he has advantage because of strengthen, +0 will actually take over. So his base attack is 4. It's +0. He'll do 4 points of damage to Nigel.
So I go from 10 all the way down to 6.
Okay, so that's the end of one turn. From now on, we'll try to go a little quicker so that we will, run through this a little quicker. I mean, we've already killed 2 of them, which I've got to say I was not expecting.
Yeah, that was a badass start.
It was a pretty good start. So we've
some good
killed
cards.
2. We got 1 left. We're going to move on to the second turn.
Go ahead and shuffle your deck because you got the.
Real quick. At the end of the turn, you have an end of the round process that you go through. You have reduced elemental strength, which means it'll go down by 1 to the waning. You have an optional short rest, which when we get to the rest portion, we will rest in a couple turns. I'll explain what a short rest and a long rest is. We're not going to do a short rest right now. So, and then you also shuffle any cards that have the shuffle symbol. So seeing as how I did pull the 2-time modifier card, mine had a shuffle symbol, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle my deck, my attack deck, and it's just a base. I mean, we're just going to shuffle those cards directly back in. This happens on ours and on the monsters deck. This does happen on both of them. So anytime a shuffle card is pulled, it's usually either really good or really bad. For example, you just saw the 2-time modifier attack damage one, which was a really good card.
Oh yeah.
There is also a nullification card, which basically means you miss completely, or the monsters miss completely. Of course, then again, they can also hit us for 2 times damage.